Hello, this is Lisa Hazard from the podcast We Are All Psychic, and I would like to introduce this one because some very interesting stuff happens around 12 minutes. And I was going to edit it out, but when I got to this point, I decided, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, it's pretty cool, guys. I wanted you to hear it. I think if it's meant to be, you'll hear it, but we got a big thunderstorm here right now, so we'll see what happens. I'll let you know. At least this is recorded. So far. Enjoyed. Thank you. Hello, this is Lisa Hazard and Misty with the podcast We Are All Psychic. And today we have back one of my favorite guests, Allana, from Nature and Animals as Teachers. Now, Allana is here today to answer the question again and more. Allana, do you still think we're all psychic?
Absolutely. I think that's what I said the last time too. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, we all like that.
We got
yeah. So let's just address that really quick. So and our topic today is about shamanism. Last time I was here, it was nature and animals as spiritual teachers, and so the topic of shamanism. Actually, I think Lisa, you said something that made this interesting in our communication before this meeting. Was that when you were exploring your gifts, that what you were putting together was what showed up first was shamanism.
Right. I didn't really connect to any of the terminology and like witches and psychic and all that stuff, but shamanism seemed like the fits,
Yeah. So earth practices, we're humans being connected to the cycles of nature and connected to nature, all that. So it would make sense that we're all psychic because we have multi-senses and we live in a multi-universe. So, we have these navigation tools that we don't use.
Yes.
That just feels right to me. And instead of it being something that's like this weird thing or, you're
charlatan. That's my least favorite, charlatan stuff. Yeah,
I never use that word. I've never used that
People
word.
Have called me charlatan.
That word has shown up lately in different areas of communications that I've seen on social media about, work that you and I do. Yes. And Misty, do you do psychic work as well? Did we talk about this before?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, these are things that, shamanism, and we had specifically wanted to address modern shamanism, like where we are right now in the planet. And, there's the word shaman is actually, like kind of like a title, and it's being used loosely. And I had a hard time, like, I didn't really think about that word, like you said, Lisa, being a
energy worker terminology.
Yeah, exactly. But it actually encompasses exactly what I do, what I've always done, who I am. And, people around me recognizing that before I even recognized that I was doing that type of work. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And and coming to me with different things. And I'm going to tell you, like, in the early 90s, I lived in Utah and I worked in a ski resort, and I had a couple of my friends bring me eagle feathers. Actually, it was one of my friends. It was a couple, but when I got them, I knew that it was, a beautiful gift. But they owned a river rafting company, and they would go someplace on the Snake River in Montana. And she found feathers and she brought them to me and said that I needed them. They were for me.
Oh my God.
Girl, I love some feathers.
She does. Misty loves some feathers. Misty makes smudge feathers.
Oh my gosh.
She makes smudge feathers. Can you imagine an eagle smudge feather? Oh. Her smudge feathers. Wipe it all off.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
But
find those.
I was thinking.
Well, here's the other thing I'm going to tell you, though, before we go any further with the eagle's feathers, is they're actually illegal to possess.
Oh,
that's right. You know what? You are right.
Even if it's like on the ground, if you just find it on the ground.
Yeah, actually, I believe so. Unless you can prove native heritage, that type of thing. So they're protected animals. They might even, they were endangered at one point. Right now they're thriving. We even have them here in California now, which we haven't had them in California. I've seen them with my own eyes, and unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Well,
so
gorgeous.
It just makes
an interesting point. I just want to throw this out here for my dad, who I don't know if he listens to this podcast or not. We're in Alabama. About 5 years ago, he saw an eagle next door on our neighbor's front porch in Alabama, North Alabama.
Yes.
A white bald eagle just sitting on the ground. It was like 5 feet, 4 feet tall. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I'll never forget that.
Well, the thing that's cool about that is that you don't.
Wow,
so you don't believe you're seeing them when you see them, because they're just so. You're like, what am I seeing? Like, because we got used to. Not
I didn't know
seeing
they were
them.
that big.
They're pretty big.
I did not know they were that big.
So, so I lived in an area in Utah, the home that I owned right before I came back here, that was actually on a lake, and the eagles migrate as well. So they would migrate through that area. So I got to see bald eagles in their season, like a lot of them. And that was very, very cool. So then to see them here in California, is like a whole other ball game. But we actually this year had a immature bald eagle in Huntington Beach Central Park. And it was there for a while, and there's pictures to prove it. And it's pretty rad. So I didn't go because it was like too much of a circus for me, and if I felt it was kind of harmful for the animals.
I agree.
But anyway, so it's an interesting topic. But so getting back to the why we started talking about the eagles and eagle feathers, and so here's what that did for me, is that when they were presented to me, because we talked about people knowing things about you that you don't really feel like I'm talking 1990. 94, and here we are, this many years later. And I, just a few years ago, when I really embraced this work that I'm now doing, and helping people uncover their innate wisdom, right, and getting connected to themselves in the seasons and all of that, right?
That's the point for me. Yeah,
right. I started understanding why I was gifted so many things in my life.
And what would you find out? What did
that
you
I'm a shaman, and that I'm practicing healing work, and people trust me, and they want to bring me these things. And like I said, I didn't really understand it. It wasn't like, oh, here's a feather. It was like, no, this was like an amazing gift that, I have these gifts. There's multiple of them. And I understand about the, like I said, I don't lightly call myself a shaman, because I feel like there's a lot of responsibility with that.
Can you explain to me what exactly a shaman is? Because a lot of know exactly when you say shaman.
Well, actually, like, to talk about, I feel like talking about a little bit about where shamanism comes from. Yeah, because it's the oldest, as far as humans know, it's the oldest form of spirituality and religion and structure and healing. So it starts in Tibet, is that right? Or Siberia? That's where the shamans originally were longest.
You have shamans all over the world.
I think the longest history, though, is like back in Tibet and in Russia and all that area, as far as like if we can reach back how long they've been around and identify it. But they're called like medicine men, medicine women too.
Right.
And they are known for integrating with the spirits and going into the spirit world. They call it upper, middle, and lower world. And you can travel with your guide or your spirit animal, and you go there and you do stuff, right? in trance. And that's what they traditionally did. And they also worked with herbs and animals, and they've healed people all kinds of ways. But the main way, from what I understand, is with herbs and with trance and going into their places is what I've done this with my guide, Allana, and you've done it, I'm sure. You go to these places and you like fix something, and then they feel better. Yeah, that's the best way I can explain that. It may be like, and it's always been here ever since we have human history recorded. We have shamans here, shamans there. Everywhere's a shaman,
That's right. And
so you would say it was a healer. That's what you would describe yourself as. It's just a healer.
Well, that's what my calling was, was to, like I've always had, as we, like we've talked before, like, I've been called to this work my whole life. It's like I've had experiences my whole life, like 7 years old, having, visitations that later unfold over time. That wasn't only me that had the visitations in that house, things like that, where you start putting stuff together. That's what I'm talking about. Even the idea that somebody that many years ago gave me these gifts, and then here I am now going, okay, like the gifts of the feathers, and other things, crystals, and like petrified this wood, and I've got the earth, and then my mom buying me books, going no, and then and then witch stuff, and but it's more the I always felt, and I would say it, like when I had to move from here to Utah, it was a had to, and I said it was a for an earth, I had an earth connection, a land connection. And I, through years of, I had to go. My biggest spiritual things that have ever happened in my life, here in California, but in Utah, because they were so extreme. I worked in ski resort. I was in mountains. People died, all the time. There were ghosts in the canyon. There were, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but there's a lot of this stuff around us. Some of my most major things that I've ever had happen to me that actually were very surprising and very scary, that have unfolded over, I'm talking 2 decades, I believe was rooted in going and working in that canyon and in Little Cottonwood Canyon, Utah, putting myself in that place on purpose because I wanted that big adventure in my life, and I freaking got it. And what I got was, everything I wanted as far as like, being in the mountains and working there and, and everything. But I also lost a lot. I lost my husband, lost my family. I believed I was fucked with, and sorry if you need to edit that out. But,
I dropped an F-bomb in the last podcast.
So, one of the things that I want to, pick up from where you said, Lisa, about the trance. So, when there's shamanic work happening, there's like a journeying that's happening. So it's like a time doesn't exist. When I said multi-universe, you can go back in time, you can go forward in time, you can dream your life into being as a shaman. So when you talked about trance and going back and fixing something, you can also go forward and fix something.
Allana. Okay, I'm gonna stop for a second. Something's like popping, and I think it's your mic. Are you hearing it, Misty? We can edit this out. Yeah, we'll.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
It was just a moving
while you were moving. So yeah,
I got to stop moving.
Collaborate.
It's hard. She gets on me all the time.
All right, so I think I kind of went off into a tangent because I'm getting all these things that are showing up. So things that maybe I shouldn't talk about.
I'll do we had an interruption thing. Okay, and that's how we'll just. Okay, well, we had an interruption like we do, and we're back again. But we won't tell you what the interruption was because it's a big shaman secret, and we can't tell you shaman secret.
Actually, I'm gonna tell you that you're probably correct in that. What I was going to talk about is something that maybe we should talk about at another time, because it's another big story that I don't need to share here because it's okay. The reason why I'm not going to share it here, and the reason why I think that interruption started, because can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is because I wasn't supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't see anything being hit. Well, listeners, our little interruption while Allana was talking, it was like, but you didn't see any microphones being hit. You didn't see anything. It was a spirit. Saying, hey, shush.
It was time to stop that now.
So what I want you to know about that, without getting into anything, any more details about that story, is that these are the things that like people would dismiss that as, our audio had failure. Okay, well, did we have failure up to that time?
Oh, we go through this all the time. Yeah. Okay. We know exactly what you're talking about.
Doing a psychic podcast
has a purpose.
Doing a psychic podcast, this stuff happens a lot.
All the time. Every time.
You should try getting Akasha on here. Whoa.
So, so I know we know these things, and this is how life works, and we need to pay attention.
I agree. Will you do me a favor? Would you like to put a definition on like what you think a modern shaman is?
Okay, that's good. Let's start there. I think that's good because I can get in all kinds of different tangents of, this subject. So okay, so without it, so here's the thing is that I get really kind of upset when people put words, beautiful words like shaman into this, like it's a mainstream thing, and then they don't respect it. And then when somebody's actually having a practice and this fits it beautifully, then I have to work around the name shaman. So I call myself an intuitive healer. I call myself an energy medicine practitioner. I call myself anything else except that, because some people, believe that shamans have to go. Now, here's where it gets interesting for me. On top of mountaintops, which I've been multiple times in multiple places in the United States, but with like a elder, or you've signed up for suffering, which we all suffer. That's where a lot of our knowing comes from, is suffering and dark nights of the soul and things like that. So that's another thing that people haven't. Challenges.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
That the modern shaman would also experience. And when, and I'm not unique to this. There's many, many people like me and you, Lisa, that that you find out a definition, you research these things, you want some answers, and this is what shows up, and always has. And I've danced around it, but honestly, it's been there my whole life. And I have like a stack of books I pulled out that some are really worn, that have called to me throughout my life, and even my ex-husband bought. I don't even know who they bought them for him, for me, but there they are. They showed up, years and years and years later. But they all have to do with being a native healer or a shaman or spirits of the earth, or working with the medicine wheel, or working with animals, people's awakenings. So what I want people to know is that modern shamanism is about your feeling of being connected to the earth and earth cycles, that you are one with the earth, that the earth's healing is all in our hands, that we dream our world into being. There's a weird thing about this pandemic, and I don't know I'm just going to say it the way that I've heard it from multiple sources, including my clients and all kinds of areas, and then this idea of dreaming our world into being fits this. We all needed to stop.
Amen.
When were we going to stop?
Yep.
We've been creating an enlightened, luminous human on full accelerated mode for well over a decade now.
Yep, I agree.
A lot of us have been caught up in it, and it's not mainstream woo-woo.
Yep.
It's beautiful earth awakening. Right. Frankly, I'm insulted by that.
Mainstream woo-woo. I like that.
Because people have insulted not only me, but others around me that are doing beautiful healing work for others. Because we need this for us, because it's so easy and it's given to us. We're born into it.
We already have it.
Have it. It's the same thing with, are you psychic? It's the same thing.
We can all work with energy.
So modern shamanism, and that was the title that I chose for this to share with Lisa. And Lisa said, yes, I love it. Because in a way, a lot of us are doing this and we don't know we're doing this, because we think that we should be, you don't have to call yourself anything. I put a title on myself because I actually I do this work and I offer it to clients. And
so, you need something to give them to go by.
What do you do? What is it that you do? What do you offer? So here's what I offer. And not only that,
but it's got to be something that didn't scare them off, like you said. Like, if you just said that you were a shaman, that would scare them off. So you have to even.
Well, they don't know what it is.
Right.
What
is that? Scares them,
There's a lot of distortion about in modern times, as far as I know, like on the internet, especially. And, when I talk to people locally, what is a shaman? They're like, they think of, the dude with the furs and the feathers on his head, shaking the rattle and the drum and dancing and smoke and fire. No, I mean, you can do that. That's fun. Let's do that. Let's do that. That's fun.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. I mean, like when I worked on one phone line, the first phone line I worked on doing psychic readings, back in 2011, I did label myself as a shaman in that description for that website.
Nice,
and
yes.
I offered trance work, and I got a lot of I got trance calls. People wanted to do trance. And I had just learned that I could do that consciously while I was on the phone, because I did it for some people in person. And I just loved it. But I haven't done it in a long time. I feel like a lot about the modern shaman is I personally, a belief of mine. I don't know how you feel about this, Allana or Misty, but I believe a modern shaman will use modern medicine too, and the earth and energy, everything
available.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. Because a modern medicine is a blessing, and any shaman who's into medicine and healing will be grabbing whatever works,
That's right.
And a modern shaman's not against traditional medicine,
right. No. And ethically, you're part of a team when you're helping people. And so I can't diagnose, I can't, I don't even go that far as to just, when I sit with someone and I'm doing healing work, I've prepared myself and I'm in their, I was calling it spiritual ecology, in their luminous energy field. I'm in there. I create sacred space. I have reverence in the work that I do. And I'm in the now, which is being in a timeline of in the now presence, the present. And so
that's hard. That's hard to be. You learn that.
Hey, Allana, your mic's doing that thing again.
Oh.
That's so weird. It started humming, but we hadn't done before, and then it started going again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. All right.
It's my mic. It's my headphones. I need better headphones.
Is it?
I hear you. Let's see. So where were we? I don't
modern shaman
now.
Taking modern medicine from the doctor.
Yes, that's right. But you also have things that are at your disposal that are free to you.
Yes,
you just have to find them and look for them, the earth, and everything that that you have available to you, including good foods, the air, so your breath.
Gratitude can be
gratitude, forgiveness, finding confidence in yourself, love in yourself first. Fill your cup up. Bake that pie that's your love pie, and then share it.
Wait. What? Where's the pie? Are you making me a pie, Allana? Look, I really like apple pie. Apple pie is.
I know, right? Different types of pie.
Anyways, I didn't mean to change the subject, but you said pie, and I just
I did. I know.
Hey, Lisa, our spirit guides were making pies and throwing them at each other earlier.
Oh, that's right. She wanted. I was talking to Misty on Messenger on Facebook, and she said she wanted to meet her guides. I'm like my shaman guide, Sam. He's been with me all my life, but I got to know him when I was 24, and he's right here. He's like, hey guys, he's loving the shaman podcast. And Misty was like, I wish I could communicate with my spirit guides, and I said, Sam, you want to help me meet any of hers? And I invited them to come in. This woman came in with a young boy. And she was like a gypsy, like she had the big eyes and the scarves and the hoop earrings and the long, the black hair. And I know gypsy's like a slang term in some countries, but it's just like in America, it's like the Halloween gypsy kind of thing. And she pulled out a plum pie and then like started having a food fight with the little kid. And I told Misty about it. Like they're real playful. Like she wanted the spirit guide wanted Misty to know that she was like a gypsy, but she was chilled out. She was cool and fun, and she was playing with the little boy. I don't know who the little boy is. That's kind of off topic, but as a shaman, do you experience that kind of stuff a lot? Do you have guides and spirits all kind of? Because for me, that's the biggest part of shamanism is the healing, but it's through the spiritual, through the spirits, the energy,
and the pie,
the bee,
and the pie,
definitely.
So I know the reason why I mentioned the pie was because I physically saw a pie as I was talking.
That's so funny. That's so funny. That's why I had to say that.
Yeah, because I did first say fill up your cup or bake a pie. Make a pie.
When you said that, I knew. I was like, I've got to tell her about the pie.
Yeah, beautiful. Like you said, apple pie. So if I were going to make an apple pie, it would have a crust on it, right? So I saw a nice, beautiful pie with a
cinnamon,
crust.
Sugar, brown sugar.
Yeah.
Shamans like pies too.
I love pies.
The next shaman pie.
Interest. Go ahead. Were you gonna ask a question?
I have a question. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, how would you tell listeners, like, if they maybe are wondering if they're a shaman, what kind of like pointers would you give them to think, well, maybe you have this skill or that skill that may be a shamanism? Like if someone's listening to the podcast and you're like, shaman,
okay,
yeah, like where do you start?
Yeah, like how would you identify yourself as that? Would you think what would be a good way to like, or if you want to teach anyone who's listening, like how to find out what part of it might have?
Okay. So some of this stuff is pretty easy. You know, I think some people would already kind of know this about themselves, that, you know, if you feel a connection to nature, if you feel a connection to nature, you need to be outside, you need to be in the sunshine, you enjoy the sunsets, you go camping, even if you don't do that, you stand at, you know, here's something too that's easy to do is you stand out, take your shoes off, go stand out barefoot somewhere. No matter where you live, you can find a little patch of nature, right? Be even barefoot around your house. You know,
I never wear shoes.
Yeah, you know, if you're lucky to live in a place where you've got, you know, open area, go take your shoes off and go for a walk with just your feet. You know, go hug a tree. Take your, you know, unplug. Don't take your phone, or if you do, turn it off. You know, take it for emergency reasons. You know, things like that, like just simple things. You know,
something else that makes me that when you're saying that about nature, signs in nature, because shamans see birds, certain birds.
I get them all the time.
Even the way the wind, butterflies, or even the way the wind blows. Like when you're thinking about something, or the way the cloud will cover the sun when you think about something or something happens. All the signs of nature, you can start picking up on the omens and the birds and the wind.
And I think that's the easiest thing to do. That's the easy way to start.
That's right. And then just feel it, be in it, smell it, breathe it, admire it. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to take a picture of it. Just take a picture in your mind. Take a picture in your mind. Mark the moment. You know, I had a beautiful day yesterday. It was full of synchronicities. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but we had beautiful, perfect, what I consider perfect summer weather. You know, I'm in Southern California, but I've been in different parts of the country, mostly in the West. And I had a feeling in the morning. I got up early. I haven't gotten up that early in a long time. So the birds were singing. I have a lot of birds here, a lot of wildlife, but you get a whole different feel when you wake up early. It's like you're waking up with the day. It's a brand new feeling. Okay. So I did that, and I didn't do it on purpose. It's just, I got up early and I was able to, I stayed up. I allowed myself to go outside. I hadn't done that in a while. I've been wanting to do it. So these are the things that are easy for us to do, even doing a garden or eating good foods that you've grown, you know, letting yourself being creative. And the signs and symbols, like we know that that's another thing that shows up a lot. You know, people do know that they see numbers or find coins or feathers. You know, like I was on a walk recently and with my dog around the neighborhood, and I don't have my phone with me, and I just allow myself to breathe, because it's also my time where I shift from my work. I'm working, I'm on the computer, I'm on the phone. I also do hair, so I'm with people. So my walk is a time to disconnect. I connect with my animal, my dog. You know, she loves me. Wow, I went on some weird tangent with dogs. I saw all my dogs.
Oh, you said Misty. It's because of Misty. Misty's a dog.
I love my dogs too.
So I saw a feather on the ground, and it was like the scraggly like crow feather. All right. And I was like, oh, and I hadn't seen feathers in a long time. I'm like, I'm not going to pick you up. I'm going to wait until there's another feather, you know, kind of thing. All right. And so then I think, it's been a while since this story's now kind of losing its juice for me. But what I remember is talking, when you talk, like I remembered going, no, thank you. I see you, acknowledging the feather, right? Acknowledging
that choice.
So and then going, no. And so then I'm going to say, and I'm like, okay, so the next feather, when I go on my next walk, I'll pick it up when I see it. Sure enough, the next day I'm walking, and right in front of me, right in my path, is this beautiful feather. Now, and then I walked a little ways long, and then there was another one that wasn't so beautiful, but I picked it up. Now, here's the thing again. Now think about it. Life isn't always so beautiful.
Nope.
So when I got what I got, and I'm not again telling the whole story, that the impact that it made on me that day, but because I acknowledged the feather before, because I said I would commit to picking it up, and I did. And then there was another one that was presenting to me as well, but it wasn't as beautiful and perfect and pretty as the first one. I knew that there was a lesson in the, not everything in life is pretty and perfect, and all feathers that have magic don't have to be perfect and pretty.
And that was just on one walk.
That was
you
on
learned
one walk.
all that on one walk. Imagine if everyone would do that on one walk or whatever it is that you do outside.
Yeah.
You could open up so many of your senses and you know, really open yourself up to a lot of things.
That's right.
Misty, do you have any shamanism questions for Allana? Because I don't know if this is something you've really looked into too much. So
no, I haven't. So I am all about it. Like when somebody comes to you, how do you do it? Like let's say I come to you and I'm having stomach issues. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I ask you, can you heal me? So what do you do? How do you do that?
Okay. All right. So how it unfolds for me now, and my initial healing practice began with Reiki. Okay. But I always had the psychic and the mediumship piece in there. But again, I didn't even call it that. It was just this thing that I did and that showed up, and the signs, like we were talking about, the animals, all the things. And then I started off really by doing readings for people because it was the easiest thing to do. And it started off with animal readings.
I do too.
I love it.
Yeah. And one of my original card decks that I got years ago, and I might have even gotten it gifted to me, was I think it's a animal medicine, it's a pretty popular animal deck.
Okay.
And so I started working with the animals, but okay. So now I integrate, basically, I don't have expectations. One of the things that I've learned, just the way I practice, I'm only speaking for me.
I like that. I don't
know. Right. So I am a professional. I'm in business. I'm a professional healer. So I always do intake forms. When I first started, I have people fill out, consent, but then I would also do like a medical intake form. Sometimes I still have them do, cool. But I don't necessarily look at it.
Right. But that's cool.
I don't necessarily look at it because here's why. If I haven't, because I integrate in when I do my sessions, a lot of information comes up. So I don't want to have any preconceived something that I'm maybe necessarily treating. Okay, right, so if you come to me and you say, I have a stomach ache. Well, now we know we're addressing that you have something going on in that part of your body. So, but what I'm doing is allowing myself to be a complete, clear conduit of the healing energy that I tap into, that I'm flowing to you, and you're the receiver, but I'm also the reader. I'm reading the energy. I'm giving you a read, and I do Reiki, and I'm doing a chakra healing. But the things that show up in those sessions are, colors, things that are being said, ancestors, animals, flowers, things that I have to describe, or what they feel like to me, or what they look like. And then what happens is everybody handles it differently as a client. Some people don't want to communicate, interact, but some people do. And they will say, oh, I've been this or that. And it makes sense, or I'll say, so ancestors will show up, and they'll show up on certain sides, and they'll be a male or they'll be a female. I'll be able to tell. And then what happens in this, it isn't just that this is a psychic reading. This is, I am tapping into this area of your body. And this is what's showing up in this area of your body. And we get to work it out. And sometimes when these things are trapped in you, they're emotional, or they're showing you something. So you were talking about signs and symbols. So I'm not telling you what the sign and symbol is. I am the reader of the sign and symbols, and I will tell you what I know about those sign and symbols. And then it is your job to either I help you, we guide each other, or you say, oh, I recognize that. Or you don't have to recognize everything. Things unfold. But most of the time, it all is pertinent to why they showed up, why they came.
I love it.
For example, let me ask you a question. So if, for example, let's say Misty, I don't know if you can do this over a video chat, by the way, listeners, we're on Zoom as usual, but with Misty's stomach issues, as a shaman on a video, can you feel anything there? Can you tell anything right now? Kind of putting you on the spot.
No, it's okay. To put on.
I've been so worried about Misty. I'm just worrying, and I don't know what to do about her.
So I don't know what to do with me.
So that's why you're laying down, Misty? You've got stomach issues going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's how this works for me. I mean, sometimes I'll get stuff, but when you asked me that and you said, put me on the spot, it's not really about putting me on the spot. It's more like what happens is that I need to just take a moment, right? Okay. Take a moment and just focus on Misty and, just, so give me a moment. Let's see.
You hear the singing bowl?
We can do.
Are you using a singing bowl?
No, it's probably somebody out here with the lawnmower.
Oh no, I just heard a singing bowl. It's on the recording. It's on the recording. I heard a singing bowl.
Ooh. Okay. Well, let me tap in here.
That's a lawnmower.
That's a lawnmower. Take a nice deep breath, Misty. So first of all, I'm feeling like breathing is not that it's an issue for you, but are you able to, do you do breath work?
No.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Like holding, like kind of like yoga, kind of
focused breath work, some focused breath work.
I probably need to.
Okay, so I feel like you do because that's what's showing up right away. Okay. Addressing you and tuning into you. And, I know you're laying down right now, but that's why I asked you to take a nice deep breath. So, take a deep breath through your nose. You can take it through your mouth if you need to, but deep breath through your nose to the count of 4, and then hold it to the count of 4, and then release it to the count of 4, and then hold it at the bottom to the count of 4, and breathe in again to the count of 4, and hold 2, 3, 4. Release 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Nice deep breath. And let it out. So if you practice purposeful breathing, I think that'll be important for you.
That breath is really important. I did it too, and I just felt my head.
I think that's going to help with anxiety.
Yeah, yes. Me too. My head just cleared out. That was really good. I did the prana of your breathing a lot, but I've never done the 4 in, 4 out hold and everything. That was really cool.
Yeah. It just takes you into, if we were to start really doing that, and let's say we added drumming to that, little drumming, little anything to that, but we just did it with the counting. It's enough to just put us in a nice state of relaxation, and the breath should slow down and be purposeful. And then that holding state just allows us to just be in the breath. So you can do that anytime, anywhere, anywhere. And anytime we feel it, think about it. I mean, people take breaths, right? You go, I mean, a lot of times I'll be working with somebody and they'll just take a nice deep breath, or we'll take, even when I'm doing the healing work, we'll take a breath together. It just seems right. So breath is really important. So I feel that for you, the breath is really important. And that allows you to bring your, like you said, anxiety down. And then we get to focus on, your belly, right? Let's focus on the belly. And when I say focus on it, I'm not, as a healer, I don't want you to be a victim of your pain. I don't see you that way. I see you whole and healed. But what I'm feeling is that there's a lot of heaviness here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What this feels like is so we're in your sacral chakra. All right. This is an orange color, and you've got kind of a brown mix in your color. So what this tells me, there's a lot of sluggish going on. Yeah. So, so let's concentrate on some foods that would help with digestion. And I'm also telling you that there seems to be some chaos possibly happening around you. Is there change happening? Is there things around you that you feel like you don't have control over right now?
Well, I haven't been working for a while, so that's been very different for me because
she's been too
I haven't
sick.
felt good. My stomach is just
Misty is a go Aries, and she's laid up. You know, she doesn't go, she doesn't sit, she goes. She doesn't even sit down. She stands up and all the time. She's always standing.
So what I'm going to suggest is that because my hand wants to, I'm going in a counterclockwise position. That what that means is that your chakra is actually running backwards. So what we want to do is we want to focus on that's the sluggish piece, and that's why it's collecting brown. So your energy isn't flowing the right way in that area. So what you can do then is, you know, nurture this area with both of your hands, put both of your hands on your belly. But what you want to do is you want to focus on going in a clockwise position. So I'm going in a clockwise position right now. But I want you to start doing this.
Does she push down or she touch it? Or is it above it? Above it then?
You can be above it. You can put your hands on it. Don't put any pressure on it. This is a light touch. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It's not invasive. You're not doing anything other than you are directing energy.
Should you use, is there a certain hand you should use? Because I personally, like some people say they have an activating hand and one's a collecting hand. Most people that I've heard of say the right hand is the one that sends. But for me, my right hand collects. Like if I hold a rock, I can use my left hand to project the energy from the rock that I have in my right hand. But for everyone else, from what I've read, they told me it's different for them. Could you tell her a certain hand or?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm actually doing right now is I'm actually here. Look, I'm doing this. Okay. So what was happening? So I'm using this hand actually just above my belly. So it's actually my solar plexus. It was called to go there. And then this hand is actually what's the energy is being flowed in a counterclockwise way. So this is the energy I'm feeling. It's going like this. Okay. So this is going against your natural flow, which is clockwise. So, and it's sluggish and it's collecting dark energy and it feels heavy outside of your body.
That makes sense.
I'm feeling that it's heavy outside of your body. So
what I can see that on Misty. Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to so just do wherever feels comfortable, whether it's on yourself, whether it's holding yourself or above your, whatever feels right, no pressure. Start going in a clockwise position to bring back that chakra into the position that it should, that they're into the back into a clockwise position that is healthy. So you can practice this every day and then return back to your belly with both your hands, you know, cup your hands. That this is equal energy, both sides. I always feel like right hand is, you know, my masculine side, my giving out side, feminine side, left side, receiving. So I intuitively allow my hands to go where they're going to go when I'm doing a session. And then sometimes it's really important where it's showing up. Like if it's right side that you're having more of a pain, it would be that you're dealing with masculine energy, whether that's your own energy that's not balanced, or it can be an ancestor. It can be someone you're doing work for, right? It can be, it can be a spouse, a child, whatever the male is, you can usually tell. I'm feeling for you that yours is actually in the center, that's outside your body, and that it almost felt, I'm just going to say it how it showed up, kind of pregnant.
Yes, that's how I feel. Like my stomach is.
She doesn't look right. She doesn't look like herself. It's like it does come out. It does come out, and your stomach never does that. I mean, it's like, you know, I like it's really bloated. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I feel pregnant. Yeah.
Okay, so now what I would ask you to do is we look at what organs are in that body. We also, what I'm dealing with also is that you've got a sluggish, your metabolism is sluggish, your chakra is sluggish. So so take some steps in being able to move that energy out, speed up the metabolism, or the chakra and the metabolism, and put it back in the clockwise position, and then nurture it. I feel like you almost need a girdle, not physically.
Yes. Yeah,
like an imaginary.
Yeah,
like an imaginary.
That it needs like a stable something to hold that up. Okay, so if you imagine that that's what you're, almost like a sling, a girdle, that kind of thing. So what I want you to imagine is that that's what your hands are doing. Your hands are doing the work that's holding up to bring it back and to dissipate that darkness that has collected, that sluggishness that has collected in that chakra. So what you're doing by doing pull it out, let it go, by putting it back. And if it feels like it needs to come out, let it come out. However it needs to go away, it can go through your legs, it can go into the earth. You can let it go into the earth, you can let it come, however it needs to expel. But work on putting it back into the clockwise position, and then nurture that belly and bring that and hold it in that position. So, you know, again, I don't diagnose, I can't diagnose for you, but what that did was just
I know
that just gave you confirmation, first of all, without knowing anything, that that's where your issue is. That's what's happening. That's what it feels like. And I'm just going to say that let's add to this a little bit. So, okay, I'm just going to say it like it is, like it's showing up. You, Misty, are feeding this sluggish energy because there's somewhere in this, you're not feeling good. It does have to do with your self-esteem, your go-getter. You're not being able to do it. It's not your fault. We've had a lot of things happening. And then something that we kind of, I mean, you know, I don't know what's going on with your life. I don't know anything about, you know, your work or prior to knowing, I don't know you really.
Right.
But what I'm getting is that something stopped you. Like you had to be kind of stopped too.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so this is the remnants of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, it's going to bring you down worse if you don't address that. It's really okay that you aren't who you were. That's kind of what I'm feeling here.
That's what makes sense. Cause like, I don't feel like myself anymore. I don't feel good. You know, I don't get up and do anything. I don't feel like me anymore.
So I'm just going to say again, I'm feeling highly emotional in this area, that this has really hurt you. And if this has hurt you, and I'm not even talking about physical pain, this is something that this is like you're carrying this wound outside your body, and this, but it's in your body, and address that, whatever that is. But it feels like it's old and it's sluggish. It doesn't serve you anymore. And I'm going to say that what I'm feeling the best way to, if you feel that you need to like allow this to like leave your body, then I'm going to say, let it go through your root chakra, down your legs, through your legs, out. If this feels like crying and a little depression and like woman and going, and just let it go into the earth and let it just feed the earth by allowing it to just leave your body. And then that way your roots get to go in and have that, some of that. I feel like some of this is nourishing in a way, like there's a lot of lessons here for you, but until you can transmute that energy and allow it to go away, I don't think you're going to even get a diagnosis of what's going on with you.
Okay.
She has had different conflicting diagnoses, and the one doctor she's seeing now has a real good idea, but there's a lot of stuff like medically that they've been telling her that's all kind of conflicting and stuff too, right, Misty?
Yes.
So, you know, again, what I'm going to just throw in here is that what this does, okay, like, you know, like somebody could say, how does this help? How does this help? Okay, well, how this helps is you felt it. It felt right to you.
And it felt good.
And it felt good. And that's the whole point, is it not? With medicine, with modern medicine, with this type of, you know, okay, so, you know, we could have done a whole session and this thing still would have showed up for you. You know, and other things could show up in your body too, but we're dealing specifically with this area right now. And what this does is it gives you a deeper connection to the pain and to the source. So then that way, anything that's a needless diagnosis won't exist. So if you can address the things we just addressed, and you can work on those things we just talked about, then the next time you see the doctor, or if you start to feel better, then you now have a different baseline to start with a different, different ways to deal with your health. Would you agree?
Energy. Yeah. Oh, totally. 100%. Oh, I totally agree. Yes. And I appreciate you. And you know what, listeners, this isn't all about me, what she's doing. She's like, this is something that you could go to, for healing for anything, any part of your body. And you can do all this yourself, everything that she explained. So I'm so glad that she was able to do that for me. That's awesome.
Okay,
I think it's beautiful, man.
It is.
Yes, it is.
It really is, and it's really awesome. And so what we do, also one of the things that Misty brought up that I think is a pretty simple thing that we, will let that listeners can apply or can go, oh, I've been doing this thing. So like I had said, hey, look where my hands are at. Okay, so a lot of times we touch our bodies, like we put our hands over our hearts, or we protect ourselves by crossing our legs, crossing our arms.
Yes.
We have a stomach ache, we put our hands on our belly. We have a headache, we put our hands on our head. We you know what I'm getting at, right? So we apply the healing of our own hands to our body to do some healing. We don't even know we're doing it because it's a natural response. So if you pay attention to where your hands go
and use that energy.
Yes. And if I need heart healing, I heal my heart. If I feel like I need to be in reverence, sometimes I do this thing that you see me doing, which is I am doing that like kind of a friction exercise in a prayer mode, and that activates and I put my hands to my heart chakra,
like Mr. Miyagi.
That's right. Yes. And I take a nice deep breath, and this there's a lot of different names for this prayer pose. And so this just feels right, natural at times. It's reverence. It feels right. And so when you use your hands that way, your hands are healing. We have healing hands. And then pay attention to right-handed, left-handed. Like Lisa talked about the way that she uses her hands for healing. There's no right or wrong way to use your hands. There's certain representations that I feel that allow me to have to interpret symbolism, like you were talking about, Lisa. Right side of my body, left side of my body. My, crown chakra represents this. It's in my head, and above my head. So what is going on in those areas? My third eye is in my eye and my forehead, my throat chakra being my mouth. I include my ears and my all this area, your senses, your throat chakra going down your heart. We put our hands on our throats. We put them on the back of our head. First level Reiki is about self-healing. Self-healing. It's the first thing we should be learning is self-healing. So we're talking about natural self-healing, things that we do to natural self-heal.
Can you imagine if that was taught in like 6th grade? You're right. Like if there was a class for that, so like 6th grade, 9th grade, like something, or people were learning about these kind of things. Instead of a religious, instead of like a religious setting, but like in an educational,
like a science thing.
That's right. And also things like Johnny comes into the classroom and says, I saw a ghost last night. And the teacher, whoever, doesn't go, oh, you're crazy, or great imagination, or, oh, there's no such thing as ghosts. Because especially when you're a child, there are.
And the grown-ups don't listen. They don't listen.
And the adults at some time, if you're a child who's, not shut down, then or you relearn, but you're connected and you go out connected. That would be your goal with a good death, being connected, right?
Exactly.
So here's another little piece of shamanism that I think is beautiful, that is a striving for living a good life, creating good, whatever you want to call it, juju, karma.
I believe that,
right? Totally. That's things like being kind, forgiving. No one's freaking perfect. Okay. Like I'm not perfect. I have forgiveness work to do,
right.
And I'm reminded of that.
Others. Understanding where others are coming from, I think,
patience, empathy, compassion, but also having a balance in those things to where you're not, sucked dry or taken advantage of or bullied or, those types of things. So having a good balance.
And going back to shamanism, if you do practice the shamanism or any shamanism techniques, there's like a million ways to ground if you're a shaman. And if you listeners, we've talked about grounding a lot, but I don't know if we've ever actually described what grounding is or what it's for. But grounding is energetically like connecting yourself to the earth. Is that like a really basic summary to make yourself feel like you're not spaced out and floating in the clouds? Because like grounding is just like, whenever I don't like to ground lately because I'm in a lot of physical pain. So I don't stay grounded, so I don't have to feel the physical pain. But the physical pain is starting to go away because of the chiropractor's helping. And I've had some angel healing from Sheila, a friend of mine. Those two together, everything's stopping hurting. But I'm starting to ground now. I'm starting to slowly kind of like, but listeners, if that doesn't make sense to you, what I mean is like my energy will feel like it's sitting down, I guess is a good way to put it.
And my belly is where mine's sitting.
and like if I'm not grounded, if I'm not grounded, then it feels like I'm not sitting down, I'm floating. It's like if I had to give a description of what grounded feels like, I'm sitting down. If I'm not grounded, I'm floating. And both of them feel okay, but you can't go to a job floating all the time, But unless you're a psychic reader, then it works out. That's why I picked it. I'm in a lot of pain a lot of time. But as a shaman, anyone practicing it, you can teach yourself to ground. And if you want to start with shamanism, I think that's a really good place. Go out in nature, like you said, Allana. Stick your feet in the grass, and whatever your idea of feeling like grounding
barefoot.
You can read all kinds of techniques. You can imagine like something from your spine going down into the earth, or your feet growing roots, or whatever feels comfortable, right?
Okay. So addressing like Misty's exercise and allowing that energy that's stuck in her body to flow out into the earth. So, I kind of picked up a couple things of what you were saying about grounding, and then I'm going to add some of the things in there. So some of the stuff that I felt that we were also describing was heaviness. Okay. The feeling of heavy. Okay. So for me personally, what I like about grounding is when, like you were saying, Lisa, about being a little bit too flighty, too much in the air element, right? And the grounding is of the earth. So things like earthing, connecting, that's grounding, where you are connected. Okay, so here's a very simple image. A very simple image to imagine yourself as being a tree.
Yes, I knew somebody was going to say that.
So we talked about roots growing, going into the earth and attaching. Now, whatever feels organic and right. I like organic. So roots and trees are amazing. And they are sentient beings. They are alive creatures, and they communicate with us. And they're
a lot of energy.
Super important. And so imagine yourself as a tree, any tree that you connect with. And I'm going to also tell you, if you connect with certain trees, it's because they're part of your tree clan. Look it up. We can explore that, because that's part of shamanism, or part of being of the earth, is connecting to the plant animals, the plant people, the stone people, the rocks that hold energy. They cool off, they heat up. The earth.
I want to invite you back to talk about this some more. I want to get down into the earth.
We have to.
Crystal. I have not done a crystal. Haven't done a crystal podcast yet. And rocks and crystals are my jam.
And these are the depths getting into the, juice and bones of why this is, the sacredness of life. And so, the exercise again of being a tree is because the balance is being the tree. You've got leaves that grow up towards the sun in the universe. And you have this beautiful trunk of of who you are, your bark, your shelter, your protection, and then you've got your branches that go deep into the earth. And then a lot of trees, their roots are just as big, if not more expansive than their branches. So roots really go deep in trees. And so if you think about even, metaphorically, our own roots and how important we find those things later in our life to be connecting with our people, and a lot of shamanism is about, when I talk about ancestors.
When you said that, I just went a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Because our our people beckon for us to help them and to do the work for them and to do work for them. And then it's our job to also know the difference between helpers and non-helpers in the spirit world.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Right. And that's another topic that I was going to start earlier with that cut me off.
You need to be a regular
we gotta do
guest.
that one day.
Yeah, regular.
Yeah, because there's a lot. Yeah, and go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to, before we, like, because we've been going forever, we could keep going. We've been going
I know.
for an hour, man.
Right.
That's why you have to come back. And you sound so good too. It's like no audio issues.
Thank you.
Except when the
I start talking about the thing.
Spirits say no. Nothing. Maybe we'll get the spirits to let her talk about. Maybe they want to leave it in suspense for the next podcast.
We'll have that podcast. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yay!
I have one more question.
So much fun.
I know, right? I have one more question for you, but first
Okay.
I want to thank our sponsor. Everclear.com is our sponsor, and they are
Everclear.
Everclear is an advice app and website where you can get your advice from empaths and psychics. And when you go there, you supposed to try to reach the goal of gaining the clarity you need to create the life you deserve after talking to a psychic or empath, or during. You might just happen it during it. But I love that job. It's awesome. And I have never loved working for a platform more. Alan, I don't know about you if you've worked platforms.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Clientele is great.
First.
Oh, it's just it's a heaven. It's a heavenly place to be. I mean, I
met you there.
Yeah, I met you. You met Misty through me. We're all friends. Now, I want to ask you one last question. So, anyone listening out there, where can they find you? I know it's in the first podcast, but I'll put your Everclear information in there. Is there anywhere on the internet people can find you that you teach, or anywhere else?
Yeah, right now I am in flux and flow because I am sort of revamping my do, but you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Intuitive Heart Studio, and Allana Seeley Foster. Also, let's see, my email address, intuitiveheartstudio at gmail.com. And I would love to help you if you need help. You can also call me. Lisa, you'll have my email and my phone number and my Everclear stuff
and your link.
Me. Right. So yeah, I do a lot of distance work. It's good. I do in-person work, but if you don't live by me in Southern California, then distance work is just as powerful as we did with Misty.
It is.
That's what I was about to say.
Yes, I can proclaim that one. Yes.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool thing to do, and that's part of shamanism as well that we addressed earlier on, was the working in timelines and working with distance, that we can still do that work and do the healing and not have to be completely present with each other, just in the time and space and motion of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like the energies have to be connected at the same time. Even
that's
if
right.
You're not talking, you can think of each other at the same time, and energy.
All of our senses engaged.
Like a little
senses engaged.
A sidestep away from shamanism, but let's say you have a crush on somebody or you're in love with somebody, and you can just feel when they're thinking about you, and you feel that, like, it's kind of like that, it's like or a friend.
Yeah, telepathic.
I have a friend, April. Yeah, she's eventually going to do her Reiki podcast. But we have a thing called Radar Love. We joke, we call it Radar Love. Like, she'll say the same thing at the same time as me. We say the same thing.
Yes.
Like, hello, how are you doing? I'm fine. The same words exactly. And it's like, stop it. No, you stop it. You stop it. Now, anyway,
get out of my head.
I want to say thank you to our listeners. Thank you so much for being there. And we do have some merch, some We Are All Psychic merch, some Mikey Hazard art merch in public.
Cool.
You can go to the website, www.weareallpsychic.com, and get you a We're All Psychic coffee mug, magnet, or t-shirt. And any art of Mikey on there. They did take some of Mikey's art down because it was copyright infringement, even though it's his original art. But Star Wars, Disney doesn't like you to put their stuff on t-shirts unless they get some money, even if it's a mashup. So he took some of down of Mikey's art. But we got a lot of good stuff on there. And the link is on the website. And if you'd like to be a guest, you can write me at lisa@weareallpsychic.com. And Alan, any last words?
Just take deep breaths and carry on.
Yes.
Any last
That's
words?
a very good idea.
And the last words,
Yes.
Misty's last words are.
My last words are, she did an incredible job.
Yes.
And I think that anybody out there that is going through any kind of pain, do exactly what she said to do, and I promise you will tell a difference.
Holy crap, Misty's standing. Misty is standing for the first time since we started this.
I know.
Podcast.
I stood up to myself.
In the beginning of this podcast, I told you, Allana, she does always stand. And look at her. She's standing. You made her stand. You didn't make her.
I can't
stand
still.
Standing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much,
Allana. It's gonna feel good.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you ladies later.
We're talking over each other.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
audience, thank you for listening. Have a great afternoon, night, day, morning, wherever you are. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.